Sagittarius, this is your July 16th, 2016 to July 31st, 2016 reading. I will be using the Psychic Tarot for the Heart Oracle deck by John Holland for the main read, and for the advice cards this month, or for this segment, I'm going to be using the Indigo Angel Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue and Charles Virtue. Decks have already been shuffled, so let's get right to it. Trying a little different layout here, so hopefully you guys can see the cards better. I might have to adjust them a little bit as we go forward. That way you guys can see everything. So I think we can do that there. And I'm just going to put this one up there without putting the whole deck that way. Hopefully you can see that a little better. Alright. So going into this time frame, it looks like you're kind of moving on from something here. As I see this going into the July 16th time frame, which I believe July 16th is a Saturday. Don't have a calendar in front of me, but I think it's close to a Saturday if it's not a Saturday. Looks like people around you, it looks like this is a mutual feeling, maybe not initiated on your side, but it's time to kind of move on, time to let go. In your line and in the environmental line, I'm seeing it reflected where it's just time to move on. It seems like it's more external. It doesn't seem like you're the one that's actually choosing to move on, even though you're like, all right, fine, let's move on. And then you kind of go, and you're like, you know what, if that's how it is, then that's how it is. But I feel like the other side is kind of causing it. So actually, since this is a general read, I want to be kind of clear. When I say it's not your choice, I don't mean like you're not saying, okay, that's enough, moving on. You very well may be doing that, but something external has happened to either you've gotten the message, all right, I need to move on, or something has happened where you're like, I'm not going to stand for that, or this is not for me, and you're moving on. I don't feel like it's something that you would have given up on unless this situation occurred the way it did. I'm almost feeling like there's a little jealousy situation going on, and externally, like, not you, but the other side is having some, like, either there's a three-time, or, you know, either they're seeing someone else, or they're being a little over-possessive. It feels like it's like some type of jealousy situation, and they're just not handling it well. It's just pushing you away. In most cases, I just feel like it may be just a little bit too much. Like, I feel like it might be a jealousy. I'm feeling jealousy here, and I'm just trying to equate what way it's working. I feel like the way on the external side, though, there's either jealousy, and you're almost being, in some cases, because this is a general read, you're being accused of being interested in things other than them, and you're just kind of fed up with it. You're like, this is ridiculous, and you're just moving on. In some cases, because I have to remember, there's a lot of different variables here. You do have your attention on someone else, and you're kind of going that direction. It's very complicated. As we go into this, there's so many Sagittarians watching this that I feel like it's definitely going in a variety of ways, but definitely moving on. And I feel like it's the external, though. I feel like something happens with that other person or other party where you're just kind of like, I've done this. I'm fed up, and I'm moving on. As you go forward, it could be a bit much. For those of you who are kind of going towards someone else, and that's kind of why you've decided to move on, I feel like that's not really going to work out. And it's probably for the better. I feel like you're kind of taking this time for yourself. It almost feels like it's a hasty decision, but it's the right decision for you. It's almost like something they do pushes your buttons, you move on. You might kind of decide, you know, maybe I don't want to move on, but they've kind of already moved on. In the sense of, like, when you made that decision, they took it to heart, and they're like, you know what, you're right. And it's kind of, as I'm going into this, I'm seeing, like, it's a good thing, but it's just, like, it's external. I'm trying to get more of that information from the external, because I feel like there's something with, like, a little more jealousy, a little more, they're trying to be more demanding of your time, and you're like, this is ridiculous, and I can't do this, and you kind of push off. And as you do, they get the message and they're like, you know what, that's the way it is. And they go their own way too, and you kind of have second thoughts, and you're kind of like, you know what, do I really want that to end? I feel like it's a good thing, though. I feel like it's a good thing that wouldn't have happened. With this here, the jealousy, like, it keeps coming back. Like, there's so much going on. I feel like they're just over-demanding. And it's funny, because there's a lot you do, and I feel like you're a great support for this person, but it just becomes too much. And you're just kind of like, I'm going to go on my own here. I feel like this is a good time for you to strengthen your own resolve and find out your own center of what you want. It becomes more of a thing where you walk away and you might, second guess whether you wanted to or not. As you do that, though, you start looking inside yourself and like, all right, what do I want? Like, it feels like it comes to that crossroads to like, what do I want? And you start to think to yourself, do I want to go back to that? Like, do I want to put the effort into that? I don't know. I feel like you kind of might toy with it, and the other person might take it as if you're going back to them, but you're kind of holding off. This is a 2-week time frame, and it seems like it kind of moves forward relatively quickly. I feel like this middle part here, where you're kind of doubting yourself, that's like a day, maybe 2. It's not very long, and you might be kind of busy, so I don't really feel like you have a lot of time to think about it, but you might have like a little insomnia at the time, you know what I mean? Or wake up in the middle of the night and just start mulling things over. One of those situations. But definitely, as long as you don't beat yourself up, you can take this time to like definitely review it, but like think, what do I really want? You have so much opportunity in front of you. I feel like there's a lot of different things going on. It's just which side of the situation you're going to look at when you review it. Like, are you going to look at all the things that went wrong and things you wish you did better, and then in a negative sense, like, oh, if I had just this or didn't that, blah blah blah, or if the other person did this or just didn't do that. If you can adjust that viewpoint to where, all right, these situations happen, next time this comes around, I'd rather handle it this way, or this is what I did this time, next time this comes around, or this type of situation comes around, I'd rather do it this way. You know what I mean? Just try to realign it for yourself in an empowering way. I feel like, especially if you're that type of person that wakes up in the middle of the night and starts thinking about these things and starts going over it, if you start re-looking at it like, all right, next time this happens, I'll handle it this way, it'll bring you more peace, and you might fall back asleep fairly quickly. Just like put yourself in that power position, because you have a lot more strength, and I really don't feel like anything went wrong. I just feel like this is the part of the situation where it was going to happen this way, one way or another, and you're just growing in a certain way. If you view it in an empowering way, though, as you move forward, you work out better. And we all have these things where, you hit bumps in the road and you're like, if they had only, blah, blah, blah. If you can just move that and say, next time this happens, I'm going to handle it this way, or, maybe I'll do it this way instead. At least, you may not plan for this to happen again, whatever it was, but you'll have that internal, like, base rhythm that when it starts happening, you'll just kind of go on autopilot and handle it a little better, or at least a way you think will handle it a little better next time. Do we have anything else here? I feel like that's pretty much where this is all going. I don't feel like it's going to be a great upheaval, so it's not like a great change. I feel like it's a lot of an emotional thing. A lot of review. You're very active through this time doing multiple projects to keep yourself busy, so you don't get too caught up in things. But it's one of those things, like I said, when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, well, this happened, that happened, I could have this, I could have that, they could have this, they could have that, you know what I mean? You just start, a lot of us, when we wake up in the middle of the night, we just like start to rethink things like, oh, this could have been better if just this and that. Just remember, empower yourself, put yourself in that power position. Next time this type of thing happens, blah, 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 or next time I see this type of situation starting, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Try to like nip it in the bud. All right, that is your July 16th to July 31st read. Oh, hold on. I forgot, I got 2 more cards for you. It's interesting. Because in the beginning, in the moving on, I feel I'm getting like that's a good thing. Like this isn't a bad thing, and it's going to lead you closer to you. I think we're going still more time for you. Again, with that waking up in the middle of the night, if that's how that works. Some of us just, you might just wake up, or not wake up. You might just be sitting at home or just reading a book or watching a TV show or something, and your mind just might wander, and you might start doing it then. You are special. Like, always remember, like, none of us came here to be perfect. We came here to learn, and you're doing a great job. It's just putting yourself in that power position. I feel like this is kind of drilling home that thought of like reviewing the situation. What way would you have preferred it to go? And just realize it'll probably come around again. Either what way would you handle it differently so you can plan that ahead of time when the situation starts repeating, or even better yet, when you notice it starting, you know, what can you do to stop it from occurring at least to this level, or maybe not be a part of such a situation again, that type of way. Definitely a time period about you. I don't feel like there's a lot of talk outside of you. Like, I don't feel like there's a lot of other people you're talking to, maybe one or two possibly. Many of you, I feel like, are doing a self-audit of the situation, this relationship or situation. Like, in some rare cases, I don't feel like it's in many, but in some rare cases, it could be like a job where you're feeling this way and you're just kind of moving on because you just feel like you're not appreciated. I feel like it's going to be a lot of internal going over it. And if you have a couple people that you really trust, you may talk with them. But I feel like the majority of Sagittarians are going to keep it inside and go over it themselves. Just remember, put yourself in that power position and you'll have good luck. Anything else I see here? I think that's what we got. All right. I will put information down below if you'd like a reading from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.